It is Wednesday, August 14th, 2024. This is another edition of Baseball Today, presented to you by our friends over at 5 Hour Energy. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan, intern Tommy along for the ride as well. Quick reminder to get your 5 Hour Energy question of the weekend by Thursday night. We can ask our favorite one on Friday's show. Before we get going, I want to remind everybody Plouffe and I have a little wager. It'll be decided on September 15th. The wager is that Plouffe thinks that no other NL West team will be within 3.5 games of the Dodgers, right? With 2 weeks to go.
Yes.
And I believe that somebody will be within 3.5 games. The loser has to do the show shirtless.
Yes.
And so I brought that up to Michelle. And what did I tell you her reaction was going to be?
Yum.
Only if you lose. Only if you lose.
What'd she say? Get in the gym, big guy?
No, what she said is that's not good if you lose. She's like, this is only good if Trevor loses. Like, people understand that? I said, yeah. I said, you've had to live it. So I tried to tell everybody yesterday.
Oh, my gosh. Well, look, man, I'm not so sure. Like, I really believe in what I said. These teams are closing in quickly on the Dodgers, although the Dodgers, I think, have won 5 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So I think either way, we're going to be fine, Chris.
I don't think so.
Sex sells. That's what we're in that business.
Not so sure that when this shirt comes off, the first word you think of is sex. It's more of the 4-letter variety. I could be wrong.
You see how happy I am right now?
Yeah, why's that?
I had a great night.
God, I envy you. Let's get to baseball. Machine Gun Kelly, Cleveland native, Shaker Heights High School. I grew up in Shaker Heights.
Oh, Shaker Heights?
Yeah, the mean streets of Shaker Heights.
Yeah, Matt Guerrier.
Good call on that one. Tip of the cap to him. He threw out the first pitch, and he ran right off the mound and threw it into the crowd where, somebody caught it up there. We had a little bit of a spillage up there. Everybody was okay. We've seen this. I think Denzel Ward of the Browns did the same thing where he threw it into the stands and he had signed it. I don't know if Machine Gun Kelly had signed this baseball, but I don't know. This seems to be the wave of the future.
I think everyone is scared to throw a first pitch. And if you're scared to throw a first pitch, you might as well come up with something special to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's exactly what happened. It's difficult. You get up there, the ball feels like a golf ball in your hands, and you're not sure what it's going to look like. You don't want to try super hard and then have it just be a disaster, because that's not good for your image. So I think that's what happened here. Machine Gun Kelly's like, hey, I know one sure way that this thing is going to turn out to be, special for somebody and not make me look like a fool. Throw it up into the stands. I don't hate it.
No, didn't hate it at all. Good job by him. Good job by Juan Soto as well. He went somewhere he had never gone before on Tuesday.
Soto drives it in the air. Deep right field. He has done it again. Juan Soto, his first career 3-home run game.
Yeah. In fact, he accounted for all the runs in the Yankees win on the south side of Chicago. My question to you, true or false, you would rather face Aaron Judge than Juan Soto with the game on the line?
So I think I've kind of answered this question. People think I'm an Aaron Judge hater, and I'm not. I think he's, one of the best players in the sport. I think he's been incredible in New York as the captain. He's handled that marketplace better than anybody since Jeter. This guy is an absolute stud. He's a Cali boy. I am all about Aaron Judge. I think what I was referencing was Paul Skeens and how you were talking, don't you want to see this matchup? And I said, I think I'd rather see the Juan Soto matchup versus Paul Skeens than Aaron Judge. And the only reason I said that was because, Paul Skeens is a strikeout guy. Aaron Judge has an above average strikeout percentage. And I figured, hey, like maybe that would be the outcome. Juan Soto, on the other hand, below average, or you know what I mean? He doesn't strike out as much as everybody else does. So I thought it'd make for a better at bat. So now you're asking me kind of the same question. Game on the line. I think my answer, and this is the correct answer. Are we talking about like a power right-handed strikeout guy? Then I'd rather have Juan Soto up there. Literally anybody else, I think I'd rather have Aaron Judge. I scoured the numbers, Chris. There's no bad number. The only bad number in any of those guys' splits this year was Aaron Judge his April. That was it.
That's it.
That's it. Every other number is 1 dot, 1 dot, 1 dot, 1 dot. So it's like, pick your poison. I think my answer is Aaron Judge, unless it's a high strikeout percentage righty on the mound. It's not like he has splits. He doesn't have right-left splits. I think he hits righties better than lefties. But I'm saying a high percentage strikeout guy, I would lean Juan Soto. Everybody else, Aaron Judge.
So the only stats that I tried to boil it down to, and these aren't even, I'm not happy with them. Late and close, so that's the best one. Tie game, well, it could be 1-1 in the first inning, and somebody's up, or third inning. That doesn't tell me much with the game on the line. 2 outs and runners in scoring position. I don't care what inning. There's a little bit more pressure on that one to deliver. Soto's numbers in the 2-out runner in scoring position, OPS-wise, and late and close, are better than Aaron Judge. Now, Aaron Judge's OPS, both over 900 in the cases.
Yes.
But for Soto, it's almost 1,200 with 2 out and runner in scoring position and a 1.1er late and close. Like,
now,
go ahead.
I can see, Juan Soto hits in
going.
front of Aaron Judge.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So it's like, what are you doing?
I posed this question to Chris Bassett today on the Rose rotation. And so I won't give you exactly what he said, but he laughed. After he stopped laughing for 20 seconds about the question, he did give us an answer. So it was it was good. That'll come out next week, by the way.
Yeah, give me an answer, Chris.
I think I've seen so many of Judge's at bats this year, and I say the same damn thing every time. He hits the ball so freaking hard.
Yes.
Every time, even when it's a single. Like, has he hit a blooper this year? Like, it doesn't feel that way. It feels like every ball is being barreled up. And because he allows Juan Soto to see pitches that he's probably never seen before in his career, I'm going to go with Aaron Judge. I'm up. Because Soto's probably on pace.
The strikeout percentage, even though it's down this year, because I think he's I don't know. I think he's learned from Juan Soto. I swear, dude. That really seems, and he's mentioned that, I'm taking the best from Juan Soto and trying to implement it into myself, which is crazy. 24.2%, which is just above the league average of 22.4%.
Yep. Second quick question about the Yankees. It sounds like Jazz Chisholm could be headed to the injured list. He's got a UCL issue in that elbow. If Jazz is out for any length of time, how devastating would it be to New York?
I don't think devastating is the right word. Obviously, he brought a spark. He brought something different to that lineup, some athleticism, some versatility that the Yankees surely needed. I don't know if devastating is the right word. I think getting Giancarlo Stanton back is probably better for them. And if he's going to be who we think he can be, I think that's better. So I'll say it's difficult. They'd like to have him there, but devastating is too strong a word for me. I think the Yankees will be fine.
So he's played 14 games since the trade. His OPS is over 1,000. He's hit 7 home runs in 61 plate appearances. That's some good stuff.
It is good.
Is it fair to say, however, the addition of Giancarlo Stanton, his return to the lineup, is more important than Jazz's omission?
I would say yes. I would say history has shown us that. And, I think that Stanton can really, really change games. I know Jazz had this nice little stretch there with the Yankees, but I'm going to go with the tried and true guy. I think that I would say yes, that his addition is stronger than the omission of Jazz Chisholm. Even though I love what Jazz has brought to the Yankees, I mentioned what it was. I think I lean more on Stanton.
Yeah, I mean, 3 weeks ago, you looked at that lineup and you're like, okay, Soto, Judge, and ouch. So it provided length, a little bit more length. It's important. Devastating, you're right, is not the right answer. A little bit of an ouchie, but not devastating. I hope that he's okay. I hope it's not torn and that, that he's done. Like, that would really stink for him and obviously stink for the Yankees. But no, devastating is not the right term. Marlins, they take care of the Phillies 5-0, hand Philadelphia its 4th straight loss and 17th in its last 25. Anybody worried, Kyle Schwarber?
Not worry, frustration. I think it's frustration just because, we know what we can be and what kind of team we can be. I don't think I think worry is the wrong kind of word.
Our intern Tommy gets a gold star on his chart today because he came up with this question. If you were a baseball doctor, what would you diagnose the Phillies with right now, and what prescription would you order them to stop it?
Okay, so the medical term I'm going to use is anhedonia, which is a state characterized primarily by the inability to feel pleasure, particularly when it comes to normally pleasurable activities.
Whoa, hold on. Should we get back to your night last night? Hey, now.
Please stop. I just watched a lot of ball. That's all.
Mhm.
So I think we're seeing, and I don't mean this like, hey, they're bored of baseball. And I don't think that's, the end all be all of this discussion. But I do think that their lineup has been largely the same with Rob Thompson at the helm. He continues to put out there. And I typically really enjoy that. And I think his players do too. But that team, it is a lot of veterans, Chris. And what are we in now? The dog days of August. And so you have to be professional. After the All-Star break, they have a commanding lead in the NL East. It is sometimes difficult to get yourself up for these games. And I'm not saying that's been the problem. They've struggled offensively. Trey Turner's been tough. His pitch recognition has been poor. Bryce Harper struggled. Bryson Stott has really struggled. So I think it kind of works in a couple of different ways. I think that they need and losing like this and getting some sort of wake up call, whether that's a team meeting, whether that's a shakeup in the lineup, can help. But they need to shake the monotony of the season off. They need to feel something again. They're not feeling anything. They're not really challenged for anything right now. I think the only thing they're thinking is, hey, man, we want that bye. Like, we want to finish with one of the top 2 records in the National League right now. That's kind of like the only thing that they've been playing for. So they have to figure out some way to enjoy and get back on the regular season, because September is going to be here quickly. And I think they really do want that bye. They've been to the wild card round. They don't want to do that. They want the bye. So I think that's kind of what I'll diagnose them. And then how do you fix it? I think you can shake the lineup up a little bit. You can give some of these guys some extra playing time, whether it be Edmundo Sosa, whether he goes in there and gives Trey Turner a day, and then the next day moves over and maybe gives Stott a day, or maybe he moves over to third base, whatever it is. Some guys on the bench that haven't been getting a lot of playing time, let them play. Like, let them get it. Like, let them provide that spark, I think, is the right way to go about this. And then set your lineup back and just don't move it again. I think there needs to be a little bit of disruption in the lineup, and just the guys playing, get them thinking, get Trey Turner off his feet and get Bryce Harper off his feet, and like let them like sit and watch these other guys play with enthusiasm and say, dude, I want to do that, and then get back to it.
Yeah, well, so Rob Thompson came into my my office the other day, and he told me the symptoms.
Okay.
And I said, I have diagnosed the Phillies with the I don't give a shititis.
Oh.
Yeah. And
is that anhedonia and it's just a different word?
it is. It's, you went to a highfalutin medical school. I went to one where they hand out, degrees on Xerox paper. So that's what it is. It's I don't give a shititis. And the cure is just get some rest. Just get some rest. August is almost over, right? September's right around the corner. So they might be feeling a little bit off, feeling a
right in
little
the
bit
middle
dizzy.
of August.
We are. We're in the middle of August.
Smack dab in the middle of August.
We are smack dab in the middle of August, right? And so I would tell them just get off their feet, that there are other teams that have come and seen me, right? New York had something really nasty running through their clubhouse for basically 2 months. Cleveland had a bad case of it last week. I told them it's going to be okay. And look, they're already better, right? Baltimore's had it. Now, Atlanta, that's one I had to actually give them an antibiotic because it's been going on for several months. I was really worried about it. But here, I'm not going to prescribe anything, because what I did was I looked at the guys' stats in the month of September. So all we have to do is just rest for a couple of weeks. And by September, you're going to be fine. Harper's career OPS in September and regular season in October, nearly 900. Trey Turner's got the best OPS of his career and the most homers by far in September of any month. Nick Castellanos, over 800 OPS, second most homers for his career. Schwarber, an 878 OPS. So let's just get to September and we'll be okay. I know there's the temptation of changing this and changing that, maybe sitting Marsh. Don't, really give him a seat and maybe moving Turner down on the lineup. That's fine. You want to go, I'll listen to what my esteemed colleague, Dr. Plouffe, just mentioned about fine with getting Sosa in there, 4 days in a week instead of 1 or 2. Like, I'm fine with all of that. It's good. But so many teams come in and see me. They have anxiety, but I don't want to prescribe them anything. I said, just take a deep breath together. We'll be fine. They'll be okay.
Let Weston Wilson play, my dog. Let him play.
Yeah. They're okay. They still have the best rotation out there in the National League, in my opinion. They'll be fine. We'll see you. We'll see you guys in September. You'll be good. And by the way, we do take your insurance, Philadelphia. We do take your insurance.
No, I only do cash.
It figures.
Yeah.
Got to keep paying for them trips to Cabo somehow.
That was not a cheap trip.
Oh, you're saying this wasn't courtesy of Stafford Airlines?
No. The flight wasn't the expensive part.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Was it worth it?
Oh, we had a great time. I loved it. I loved the hotel we stayed at. Loved the meals that we ate. We used to Cabo differently. Now Cabo's become a little more pricey for us.
Oh, okay.
I love Cabo because you can do it so many different ways. You could do really cheap Cabo and have a great time. We didn't do that this time.
Okay. That way, baller. We're all driven by the search for better. When it comes to hiring, the best way to search for candidates isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. So ditch all the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling and screening and messaging so you can connect with candidates in a faster way. And Indeed doesn't just help you hire faster. 93% of employers agree that Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites. That's according to recent Indeed survey. And listeners of this show, you're going to get $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/baseball. So head on over to Indeed.com/baseball right now. Support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this very podcast, Baseball Today. It is Indeed.com/baseball. Terms and conditions do apply. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Who doesn't need to hire these days? I don't know. You're looking for the best people out there. Indeed is the right answer. Well, it is indeed true that the Astros have won 7 in a row, and they have widened their gap in the American League West. They have a 1.5 game lead over Seattle as a former postseason hero has started to get toasty.
Repeat of the game on August 2nd as Alex drills one deep to left field. He's done it again. 4 consecutive games with a home run, and the Astros take a 2-1 lead. Breggy is hitting bombs on a regular.
I like that. Breggy hitting bombs on a regular. He, of course, is a free agent to be. Has he reestablished himself as the second best position player available in the upcoming free agent class behind only Juan Soto?
I think so. I think that, it's basically between Juan Soto's number one, and then it's like you talk Pete Alonso, you could talk Willie Adames and Alex Bregman. I think Alex Bregman's track record is just, it's more consistent. He plays Willie plays a more premium position than him, but Alex can play a fine third base, and I think honestly he can move around if you really needed him to do that at some point. So I think he has established himself as the second best free agent to be. I think that, again, his track record just kind of speaks for itself, not only in the regular season, but I think it means something when you can say, hey, we've seen this guy in crunch time. We've seen this guy in the postseason. We've seen, him in the biggest moments in the sport, and he delivers. So I think, yes, Chris, he has established himself or reestablished himself.
Yeah, and also, let's remember, when it's money time, the guy produces an OPS in the playoffs for his career of almost 800, and he has 19 bombs. It's interesting how he has changed a little bit as a player, and I don't know exactly how to explain it. Maybe you can. when he was runner-up for the MVP in 2019, one thing he did was he led the league in walks at 119. In fact, he had 36 more walks than strikeouts that year. He has 36 walks this year. This year. What do you think has gone on with him over the last 5 years?
I think it could be like velo. When you get a little bit older, you got to be, the ability to catch up to velocity.
But he's
becomes a
not
little bit more-
old.
Well, he's getting up there. He's not, when he did that, he was 25 years old. Now he's 30. Like, things change quickly. I mean, look, 4 or 5 years ago, you would have said 30. Oh my gosh, this guy's going to die out there on the baseball field. I know we've trying to change that outlook a little bit. I'm just saying, I think the ability to go and catch up to fastballs as you get older requires a little bit more of a lean towards the fastball. Like, you gotta, create the ability to go get that. Whereas before, you might be able to just rely on, seeing the ball and your natural ability, your quickness that you have. I think when you get older, I don't want to say cheat. That's not the right word, but it takes a little bit more to get to the velo, and that exposes you to other pitches. So I think that could be a reason why he's not walking as much.
Let's not use the word cheat when we're talking about a Houston Astro, please.
Oh, stop.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that he is going to be, first of all, we can't put Alonso in there. He doesn't play a premium position, and you and I discussed Pete Alonso a few weeks ago. Willy Adames, we also recently discussed, and, he's a solid shortstop. He's not going to be Corey Seager or any of those guys that have earned, $200-300 million, but he's going to get a handsome payday in the offseason. Good dude. Has got some pop. Bregman, I would put how would you list them? 2, 3, 4, those three guys.
As far like what's the tiebreaker? Like, amount of money or just player, like how they are as a player?
In terms of it, let's say you had availabilities at all of those positions. How would you prioritize them?
Bregman, Adames, Pete.
Isn't that crazy?
Why?
Yeah.
It's not crazy. Why? I think for a couple different reasons. I think Bregman has just a great track record, and I think that he brings like a very much winning mentality and experience to your clubhouse. I think that kind of is what I look at when I think of Alex Bregman. Then Willy Adames, a guy that can hit at a premium position. I know the shortstops have we're seeing it like almost not a golden age of shortstops, but maybe you can call it that, where offense has become more a part of that position again. But I think having a guy that can put up a run and carry your team offensively as a shortstop means something to me. And then at first base, I think that you can not just find someone that could hit homers like Pete, but I think you can kind of mix and match and platoon over there a little bit better than you can at other positions.
My second part of this question is, of course, Houston has let so many major contributors to that program walk when it's been their free agent year, whether it's a Carlos Correa or George Springer or a Justin Verlander, Garrett Cole even. Would it be a mistake to let Alex Bregman go?
Yes. Yeah, I think so. I know that's how they do business, but you keep Altuve around, you keep Bregman around, you keep Alvarez around. Kyle Tucker, I don't think is gonna you got to figure out what's going on there. I don't think you're probably going to be able to do it at this point. But I think keeping those kind of like centerpieces around means something to the franchise. And Bregman, to me, still has plenty of good ball in front of him. I don't think you have to worry about injury stuff with him. I just mentioned his age, but he doesn't look like he's going anywhere anytime soon. So, and I really don't think he's going to break the bank. And I think he might want to stay there. I think he likes playing in Houston. I think that means something. So I think it would be a mistake. Clearly they have a track record of getting that right and just continuously pushing on even without these guys. But Bregman seems to be a little bit different to me.
So I did just a little poking around. Obviously, I don't pay attention to every team's farm system. Some I do, but sorry, Astros, I haven't. Their number 5 prospect is a third baseman, Zach DeCenzo. He's a little bit older. It feels like he's 24 or so. Has had a good year. AAA, that's where he is now. Bryce Matthews was a first rounder a season ago, and he's killing it. So maybe they move on. It's possible. I do think, I'll put it to you this way. if they were guaranteed to be able to get a deal done with Kyle Tucker,
Sure, that's different.
then I would say, look, go for it. Let him go.
My question would be, where do you put the money? If you're going to bring up one of those guys and say this is going to be like the same way they did with Pena, if you put someone at third base, a rookie at third base, and you're saving this money, where do you put it? Right now, the rotation looks good. Plus, they're going to have guys coming off the IL too. Like, where do you put that money? If it's not Kyle Tucker.
Verlander's not going to hit his innings. So, that doesn't kick in at all. I mean, I know the Mets are picking up half of his contract, but that saves 17 and a half or whatever it is for next year, 20. I don't know. I don't remember exactly what the number is, but they're also probably going to have to add a little bit to that rotation. We can't count on McCullers anymore, and who knows what they're going to do with Fromber. So I don't know. I have a gut feeling I understand your point. If he feels like a lifelong Astro,
He does.
He does feel that way, but I think they've got too many balls in the air between Tucker and their starting rotation to where they might let him walk. And as long as they do put their resources into other places, then in my opinion, it's not a bad move. I just am a huge Kyle Tucker fan.
I'm looking at all these numbers with Bregman right now, and like the fastball is he's still doing it fine.
Okay.
Still hitting it fine. So I don't know. I don't know what it is. Astros fans, let us know.
A few Cy Young candidates in the American League took to the mound on Tuesday. Tarek Skubal, fantastic again. Got the win, 6 innings, 1 run, 3 hits, 9 Ks against Seattle. He leads the American League, by the way, in the Triple Crown categories. Seth Lugo, your Twins took it to him. 7 earned, 8 runs in 4 innings. You should puff out your chest for that one. But we are going to focus today on my closer, Emmanuel Clase, who saved his 4th game in as many days. He now leads the American League still, 37 saves. His ERA is .64. Is this the year an American League reliever should get the Cy Young?
No, but I believe he'll be up there, and I wouldn't even mind him getting Cy Young 2 this year. I think Tarek Skubal has just been kind of overwhelmingly dominant for his team, so I think he is going to win the Cy Young. I like to give a nod to Corbin Burns because he comes over into a brand new league, into a team that really needs him to be an ace. A lot of pressure there on a walk year, and he's been fantastic as well. But I think I would put Clase over him in the Cy Young as of right now. I mean, the numbers are overwhelming with that guy. Chris, I know you know all this stuff. He's walked only 7 batters in 56 and a third innings. He's hit 2, and he's given up 30 hits. So he's given up 39 base runners in 56 and a third innings. That's nuts, Chris. Mm-hmm. That's nuts. Now, part of that, he's not a big strikeout guy, which is crazy to me. But so part of that is he's got a great defense behind him. He's got a great middle infield behind him. So you have to take that into consideration. But he knows that, so he pitches that way. That's why he's able to go 4 days in a row because, 13 pitches, 10 pitches, 10 pitches. He had the 20 pitch outing against the Twins, which he loaded the bases and got out of it. So I don't think he's going to win it this year. I do think in the coming years, we will be seeing more relievers talked about in the Cy Young because that's the way pitching is going. But this year, I think Skubal's done enough where I think he's going to win it. And I wouldn't be shocked if Clase got second as Cy Young too.
So my predictions over the years on this show, when we do our preseason predictions, have been horrible. This year, I had the Blue Jays and the Braves in the World Series, and there's still hope for the Atlanta Braves, but Blue Jays, we'll see you next year. My one that I can peacock about a little bit is Tarek Skubal, because I predicted him to be the Cy Young winner, and I do think he's going to win it. However, if we were in a baseball court of law and it was my job to make an opinion on behalf of Emmanuel Clase, here's what I would say. I would say, yes, some of those numbers that you put out there, Trevor, on behalf of Clase are excellent. Excellent. Yes. I would say you as a voter have to do a better job of looking at the importance of Emmanuel Clase to Cleveland this year.
Yes.
And let's remember, Cleveland does have the best record in the American League.
Yes.
How have they predominantly won these 70 games?
By 1 run.
By one, it feels like 1 or 2 runs. Like there is no closer that has felt more pressure in meaningful baseball than Emmanuel Clase. He's going to, as long as he stays healthy, he's going to throw in the mid 70s in terms of games. And the fact that you can rely on him for 4 straight days when they had lost 7 in a row says something. So you have to look at the way that Cleveland has had almost 0 starting pitching this year outside of Tanner Bybee and Ben Lively, who's kind of fallen off a little bit. Their offense has been a 3-headed monster for the most part in Juan, Ramirez, and Naylor. And even Naylor has, he's provided some really nice power numbers, but he's not the dude. So it has come down to their bullpen. And far and away, Emmanuel Clase makes everybody else fall in line. Hunter Gaddis has been great. Cade Smith has been great. Tim Herron, they've all been great. But Clase, at the end of the day, it just doesn't happen where he comes in and falls apart, man. Even the other day when he loaded the bases against your Twins.
I watched.
Right? Like, that's amazing that he was able to wiggle out of that jam. That's elite stuff. It's elite stuff. Do you know the last reliever to win the Cy Young in the American League?
Oh, Dennis Eckersley.
That is it. In 1992. By the way, I went back and looked at the numbers. He would never have won it today.
No.
Would have been Clemens, most likely.
I don't understand his strikeout percentage. I just can't. Like, if I'm up there, I will strike out. That's what I think. I'm not saying he's like not trying to strike or he's doing this or that. I'm just saying like the stuff that he has is crazy.
That's the question I've got. He's under 8 Ks per 9, and the guy throws 102. Like I've asked Hedges this. I said, what is it? He goes, listen, dude, you look like you can barrel it up, and then it gets in on your thumbs at the end, and nobody has any shot.
He's in the zone a lot, which I think that a lot of strikeout pitchers end up out of the zone. He's in the zone a lot. That's why he only has 7 walks all year. So
Yep. It's fascinating. Last Cleveland closer to finish runner-up in the Cy Young voting was Jose Mesa in 1995, which happened to be the first time that Cleveland made the World Series in 41 years. So if he finishes runner-up and we make the World Series, I'll take that. I would like to even see us win the World Series this time around.
Jose Mesa, okay. He's not going to win the Cy Young, but I agree with you that he should be heavily considered.
Yes. And if people listen to my explanation, maybe that'll push him over the top. Probably not, but I want to give it a shot. All right. Talk about my favorite, my girl Sydney, and all of our 4-legged fur babies, our dogs. The Farmer's Dog Food, it is developed with vets. It is made fresh from real meat and veggies. It is perfectly portioned for your dog, and it is delivered right to your door. You're probably wondering, how the heck do I get started with this, Rose? It seems so overwhelming. It is not. You head on over to thefarmersdog.com. You fill out a questionnaire that takes you less than 5 minutes. It's literally like 2, to be honest with you. It's the breed of your dog. It's the age of your dog, how much exercise it gets, what it typically eats, and voila. They will come up and they will send you a box right to your door. They come in these freezer packs, has the name of your dog right on it. So it says Sydney. I put it in the freezer 24 hours before I need to use a new bag. I put it in the fridge. It thaws out, and it's good to go. And it is so good for them. It keeps them energized. It keeps them feeling young. It's better for their coat and their skin and their breath, which is great because if you're like me and you love to snuggle with your dog and just get up in that face, you don't want to be like, damn, that shit's stanky. You do not want that. And it's better for easier digestion, smaller, better poops. Healthy diet's not just about being good for humans, So it doesn't matter if your dog is young, just getting going, or older like Sydney. It's always the right time to begin investing in their health. Help keep your dog healthy and playing ball. 50% off your first box at thefarmersdog.com/today. That's a big deal, right? You're going to get free shipping. That's nice because it's a big box. Head on over to thefarmersdog.com/today. You're going to get half off. But you know what you're going to also get? 100% love from your doggy. Because at the end of the day, who doesn't love it when their pooch looks up at them, says, Ravi, thank you for the farmer's dog. Rai Waru. Woof. Ace. Reason I'm wearing an A's cap today. They deal a blow to the Mets in a game where Austin Adams literally blew up. Oakland's reliever came on and ended up throwing a scoreless fifth. He wiggled out of a jam, and he went nuts. He seemingly mocked Jose Iglesias' OMG and then was seen shouting, "Get the F out of here, you piece of shit." Of course, Adams was DFA'd back in February by the New York Mets. After the game, according to Will Sampson, who covers the Mets for The Athletic, Adams said, "Hey, I looked up. I was so surprised I got out of it. I was like, oh my gosh. And then it dawned on me, oh my gosh. And then, so I did it. But that song is sick. Iglesias is a good dude. Hopefully no one was offended." Are you buying his explanation?
I don't know. Look, I know this. I know that when you do get DFA'd by a team, there's a lot of animosity, whether there was an amicable split and you had a great time there or not. The fact that they dumped you, like a lot of people out there listening that have been dumped before, know the feeling. You want to get back. So I know I get the emotion, but it was over the top for me. It seemed like there was something else going on. Like who was the POS? Like who was he talking to? Was he talking about Iglesias? Was Iglesias even like in spring training?
Well, I mean, he was with the minor league team and then he got called up. So I would imagine.
So I'm assuming he was in Major League spring training.
I don't
Okay,
think he was talking about Jose Iglesias.
Who was he talking about? That was like really over the top.
Management?
So, like, I guess, dude. I don't know. It seemed like it was almost premeditated. He was doing the dance. I don't know how to feel about this one. He basically apologized. I think hopefully no one is offended. Is that an apology?
I wish he hadn't taken it back. I wish he would have owned it and just said, you know what?
Yeah,
I was pissed. Remember Paul Sewald did that a bunch of years ago. He did not have a great start to his career with the Mets. He ended up going out to Seattle and he did the whole thing, after getting a save or closing out a game there one time. So we've seen it. Maybe it's just something about that stadium, perhaps.
I don't know. He was fired up. Maybe
he was fired
too
up.
Much caffeine. I don't know, man. A little adrenaline, caffeine will make you do some weird things.
Now, I will say this. Like, I would have had a problem if he had turned to the Mets dugout and then fired all these bad words in that direction. I think if you're just kind of fired up, like, oh, those MFers, they're a piece of shit, all that sort of stuff, like, fine. You can go. I just wish guys would own it. I wish at the end of the day, he would have been like, yeah, I was pissed.
You know what? I think you're right because pitchers, man, don't get me started on pitchers. If Jose Iglesias took him up top and started doing all this and called him a POS, running around the bases, this guy would have been very upset about it.
Yeah, but it wasn't directed at the Mets dugout.
What was it directed at?
Life in general.
It's like, okay, fine. Whatever, dude. I don't really care about it. I don't think the Mets care at all. Although, I was going to say they don't care about the Oakland Athletics. Oakland Athletics have one of the better records in the last 30 games.
I know. They're being a problem. They're being the problem child out there.
Yes.
All right, this was a fun one. A lot of interesting stuff today. Don't forget to vote Emmanuel Clase as your American League Cy Young. Although I can't really lose. Like, if he wins, awesome. If Scooble wins, I finally nailed one. Even somebody gets like a 17% on the quiz occasionally. Yeah. All right, we're back at it again tomorrow. We cannot wait. Don't forget to get your 5-hour energy question of the weekend by Thursday night. For our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, our awesome intern, Tommy Young. That is the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. We will see you Thursday on Baseball Today, presented to you by 5-Hour Energy. Nice hands.